Key phrase: the greatest source of unhappiness is self-unhappiness. The greatest source of unhappiness doesn't come from outside. The greatest source of unhappiness comes from inside.
The idea that life is, that happiness is the purpose of life. It's like, great for happiness, man. If it comes along, you should be thrilled that it's visiting you.
You want to become a risk taker. You want to raise the bar on yourself. Most people won't do that. See, most people engage in low life living, low risk living. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow.
The moments of happiness we enjoy take us by surprise. It is not that we seize them, but that they seize us. When we feel positive emotions, we tend to feel happy. Happiness is regarded as the mental state of a person in an optimistic manner. Every person defines happiness in his own manner. For some, happiness is when you experience professional success, reunions with family and friends, eating out, reading books, or watching good movies. While for others, happiness can be accomplished by some weekend activities which might help you de-stress and get the satisfaction of mind. Staying contented in life with what you have. Cribbing and grumbling never lead to happiness.
The last and most important category of laughter I'll mention might be called real laughter. It's spontaneous, it's happy, it's unpremeditated, it has no hidden agenda. It happens when you see or hear something that's really funny. I'd like to spend a moment talking about this category of real laughter because it's one of the most important aspects of humor. The more real laughter you can bring into your life, the better off you'll be. I've spoken quite a bit about children and the raising of children in this program, and kids are really our best source of knowledge about real laughter.
If you're really in a good mood, really happy, you're going to be impulsive and make mistakes. Because you hear these dough-headed, that's a very minor word, people who are always pushing happiness as the key measure for successful existence. It's so ill-informed that it's embarrassing that even happens. Positive emotion makes people impulsive. Maniacs, for example, which is really, that's mania, right? Bipolar disorder. If you're manic, you're one happy person. Way too happy. Everything is great. Nothing but wonderful things that are beyond your imagination are going to happen to you, and they're going to happen fast.
I know I can do more than what I've been doing. I know there's some great music that I have within me that I haven't brought out here yet. Is that something that you begin to look at within yourself? See, I say if you look at your life, and if you're not getting what you want, you owe it to yourself to do something differently. If you're on a job, 85% they say of Americans go to jobs that they're unhappy. If you're doing something 8 hours a day that you don't like, it's not giving you what you want, it's not giving you a strong feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment.
Even if happiness forgets you a little bit, never completely forget about it. Be happy with what you have. Be excited about what you want. If you look to others for fulfillment, you will never be fulfilled. If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the world belongs to you. Happiness cannot be traveled to, owned, earned, worn, or consumed. Happiness is the spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude.
If you wish to be happy, study and practice the art of happy living. Up until then, I had no concept that happiness was a study. My best hope for happiness at age 25 was just to go around with my fingers crossed, hoping something would make me happy. And he said, no, happiness is something you fashion. Happiness is an art. It's not an accident, it's an art. And so I'm asking you to study and practice the art of living a happy life.
Well, it shouldn't be our life goal, because there are times in your life when you're not going to be happy. And then what are you going to do? Your goal is demolished. And there are going to be plenty of times in your life when you're not happy. There might be years. And so it's a shallow boat in a very rough ocean. And it's based upon a misconceptualization. Happiness is something that descends upon you. Everyone knows that. It comes upon you suddenly. And then you should be grateful for it.
The question is, are you happy? And if you're not happy, what's holding you back? What do you think that's the source of your lack of happiness? What is it that you think that could perhaps, if it were to change, it will make things different for you, that you would be happy? Is it your relationship? Sometimes relationships can be very draining when you are dying together rather than growing together, or you're with somebody that's angry, that's negative and toxic, and it can weigh on your mind, it can weigh on your spirit, it can age you. I saw a friend of mine and
if you happen to be happy, well, wonderful. Enjoy it. Be grateful for it.
There is no such thing as a problem without a gift for you in its hands. You seek problems because you need their gifts. Our capacity to draw happiness from aesthetic objects or material goods in fact seems critically dependent on our first satisfying a more important range of emotional or psychological needs. Among them, the need for understanding, for love, expression, and respect. The best remedy for those who are afraid, lonely, or unhappy is to go outside, somewhere where they can be quiet, alone with the heavens, nature, and God. As long as this exists, and it certainly always will, then there will be comfort for every sorrow, whatever the circumstances may be.
Happiness is a separate art from travel. Happiness is separate from anything else. Happiness is separate from economics. Happiness must be carefully woven on its own. Sure, I get to fly the Concorde now. You can get there faster, but you can't be any happier.
Enthusiasm and joy, happiness, let's say, is 100% dependent, as far as we can tell, on observations that you're progressing towards a valued goal. It's not attainment focused, that's satiation. You get something you want and you're satisfied about it. That's a whole different neurochemical system. But enthusiasm and joy that people associate with happiness manifests itself when you're moving towards a valued goal. So if you don't prioritize your goals because you don't exist within a structure of value, then you have no positive emotion. And positive emotion is half of forward-moving motivation. Well, in fact, in terms of forward movement, it's almost all the motivation, because the embodied manifestation of positive emotion is the movement towards a valued goal. That's what it is. That's why you have the positive emotion, because you are a creature that can move towards goals. And the emotional signaling of that is positive emotion. No goal, no positive emotion.
you decide to drop your buckets where you are and develop your gifts, I grant you, you'll never ever be without. I grant you that your gifts will take you places that will literally amaze you. I grant you that if you begin to work to develop your gifts, you'll develop a strong sense of happiness. You'll get a larger vision of yourself, because part of beginning to get a larger vision of yourself, all of us need some area of our lives where we can have a feeling of competence. That people know when they think about this area, that's something you do.
You should always try to rehearse the ways of keeping yourself satisfied and keeping away from negativity to experience peace and happiness in life. The happiness of life is made up of the little charities of a kiss or smile, a kind look, a heartfelt compliment. When one door of happiness closes, another opens. But often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one that has been opened for us. The pleasure which we most rarely experience gives us greatest delight. If you find this content interesting, then give this video a big thumbs up and make sure to hit that subscribe button below. See you in the next video.